Amir Razagi, can I request you to please switch off your video? Please don't put up your videos on. So we have gone live. Hi, good evening everyone to this 11th webinar conducted by Healthcare at Home. And today's topic is very, very interesting, which is physiotherapy and rehabilitation. So what are the challenges which the patients and the physiotherapists are facing in continuing recovery and rehabilitation is what we are going to discuss today. The objective was today to reach out to the physiotherapy community, reach out to the public at large. We have a followership of around 7 lakh people on Facebook itself and 1,000 plus employees across the country. And most importantly, the patients who need physiotherapy but don't know what to do. At HCH, we have a very strong vertical of physiotherapy where we have 100 plus rehabilitation therapists with us. For the first time in the country, we have 10 plus international and national publications on outcomes in home healthcare and physiotherapy, which has developed as a separate industry. First time in home healthcare, we started measuring outcomes, benchmarking outcomes, and also publishing them. And also got 3 courses accredited by CPD UK in knee pain management, low backache management, and stroke management. But all these glorious things came to halt overnight. People, if there were around 300 people who were taking physiotherapy before lockdown, it just came to 30. So that's what I want to discuss with this this August gathering. That is it right to stop physiotherapy? Is this not going to hurt people in the long term? Can we really stop physiotherapy? So those are some pertinent questions which I'm going to ask. Today I have with me the most eminent Professor Ali Irani from Mumbai. He's a bachelor's in physiotherapy from Baroda, did his PhD in sports medicine, PhD in anatomy of body movement and dance, Bombay University. Very interesting, sir. And Doctor of Physiotherapy from NUMS, Spain. He is presently the head of Department of Physiotherapy, Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation with Nanavati Hospital in Mumbai, and the president of Indian Institute of Physiotherapists and principal NMMS University. Having 35 years of experience in the profession, he has various accomplishments to his name. He was a physiotherapist for the Indian cricket team. He is also on the Academic Council of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, worked as a researcher in Bombay Hospital, has published numerous papers on knee mobility, backache, hammer tone for frozen shoulder, fitness and sports injuries, has held numerous workshops also with the Iranian Physiotherapy Association. Very interestingly, has worked on community-based rehabilitation, where he has held rural physiotherapy camps and also set up rehabilitation center in Bhuj post the earthquake in Gujarat. He is an examiner and lecturer for students of Masters of Fine Arts, Bombay University, PhD guide at various universities, lecturers on management, disaster management, and principal postgraduate institute of physiotherapy since 2009. He has also been awarded with the Lifetime Achievement Award by Indian Institute of Physiotherapy and granted fellowship by Indian Association of Sports Medicine. With such an illustrious career, I welcome Professor Ali Irani.
Thank you.
From Bombay, I come to Delhi, and I have with me Dr. Dharam Pandey. Dr. Dharam Pandey, again, is a MPT Neurology, PhD in Physiotherapy, Certificate in Neurodevelopment Therapy, Advanced Certificate in NDT, Certificate in Osteopathy and Modifying Chiropractic from UK, Doctor of Osteopathy, NUMSS, Spain, and has been associated with 5 national and 1 international universities examiner or an academic board member. With more than 20 years of experience, he is presently working as director and HOD in BLK Center for Advanced Physiotherapy, Sports and Neurohabilitation at BLK Super Specialty Hospital, New Delhi. Previously, he has also worked with Jaipur Golden Hospital and has also worked as a chief physiotherapist with Mediscope Hospitals. He has various national and international awards to his credit. And let me now read out a list of his memberships. He is a member of Indian Institute of Physiotherapy, American Physical Therapy Association, Delhi Council for Physiotherapy and Occupational Therapy, World Confederation of Neurohabilitation, National Advisory Board member, PGOT, Scientific Committee member, IJPOT, International Network of SCI Physiotherapists, International Society of Exercise and Immunology, American Society of Neurorehabilitation, Indian Head Injury Foundation, and Indian Academy of Neurology. I welcome you, Dr. Pandey. I have with me from Bangalore now, Dr. Ayappan, who is a professor of physiotherapy at Sanjay Gandhi Institute of Trauma and Orthopedics College of Physiotherapy, Bangalore, and is also chief physiotherapist at Suguna Hospital, Bangalore. He is a bachelor of physiotherapy and master's from the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, and is also the president of the Karnataka chapter of IAP. He is also a life member of Indian Institution of Physiotherapy and founder and life member of Karnataka State Physiotherapy Federation. I welcome you, Dr. Ayappan. I have our very own head of physiotherapy at Healthcare at Home, Dr. Gagan Kapoor. Dr. Gagan Kapoor is a bachelor's from the prestigious Nartar College and a master's from Jamia Hamdard. With again 20 years of physiotherapy behind him, he's been an accomplished sports physiotherapist. He has been part of the Indian national football team as a team physiotherapist and was part of the Qatar Asia Cup. He's worked with Indian Super League as a lead physiotherapist for Northeast United Football Club, has also worked with elite football injury management with JCT Mills National Football League and later I-League. He is a visiting faculty at Jamia Millia Islamia. He has an accomplishment of publishing more than 10 presentations and publications at Healthcare at Home in home physiotherapy, which is first in the country. Last but not the least, I have with me Dr. Jayaprakash Jayavelu, Chief Physiotherapist, Narayana Super Specialty Hospital, Gurgaon, and Dharamshila Narayana Super Specialty Hospital, New Delhi. He's done his Bachelor's of Physiotherapy from Tamil Nadu, Dr. MGR Medical University, and Master's from Jamia Hamdard again. He has worked as a Chief Physiotherapist in Medantara Medicity, Artemis Health Institute, and Max Hospital, Saket. He has more than 20 years of professional experience, has authored multiple research pursuits, and is also pursuing his PhD from Amity University. I welcome you, Dr. JP. So my first question is to Professor Ali Irani. Professor Saab, things have changed the way physiotherapy used to happen. There are numerous challenges which the hottest spot in country, Mumbai, is facing. So could you highlight what are the challenges a physiotherapist and a patient who needs physiotherapy are facing in these times?
I would divide it into two halves. The first half is all the departments in hospitals, major hospitals of Bombay. They are working, they are practicing, because the department has to look after the indoor patients who are admitted. So surgeries are still happening. Plus, we have the COVID patients to be taken care. And of course, the department works because once the hospital is working, people are coming. And it depends how the head of the department or the physiotherapist approach with the patients. So it's very easy for them to say, okay, yes, we are taking precautions. It's you are going to be screened, seen everything properly. Then our glasses are changed every time our physiotherapist is going to treat you. Every patient has a separate gloves. They will be masked. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of ourselves because none of us should get it. So it makes it easy for people to come towards the hospital department. To those who have clinics, many have, and I would rather say 90% of the people having clinics have panicked. They didn't know where to start, how to start, which I would always advise them, government, at least BMC, Bombay Municipal Commissioner is regularly saying to open the clinics. And in that section of clinics, like your company has home services. So I don't know, it all depends how you talk to her. We are seeing our patients, again, home services can be, initially could have started with whether it was telemedicine or a live call, video call for your patient. Give them confidence and then your staff could go. I feel if you tell them, okay, our staff who is going to come home, the physiotherapist will be changing the gloves after seeing you, has not gone, is not going to use the same gloves, will be masked properly. When you give me time permit, I just want to describe the different masks also, what we should be having it. And it's confidence building. So in a very short, if your home department start talking, why not? They are losing. Suppose I think so Dr. Pandey will talk more about it, hemiplegia. You know, they go back to square one after missing so much. So whatever hard work that a physiotherapist has put in and suddenly there's going to be a break of 40 days or 30 days, they're going to be back to square one. Especially total knee surgeries, they require physiotherapists. If the physiotherapist is not seen, the surgery fails. The range of movement is not going to come. The strength is not going to come. So it's how we have to also take effort to convince them. I have a lot of patients initially, first 2 3 days, we do a video call, explain them, okay, do your exercise at home. We are guiding you the way we guide you, you should do it. And they come around. Then they will want to come. They know that the same staff is going to look after. I think so. Reassurance is the key.
Thank you, Dr. Rani. Let me go to Dr. JP from NCR. Sir, how are things in NCR? What are the challenges being faced by physiotherapists and patients in this situation?
Actually, as far as the standalone clinics is concerned, it's definitely they have been like seriously affected, and it is painful to say most of the like, standalone clinics they have been like suffering. We've been depending only on the clinical practice. Like some used to depend on both academic and clinical practice. They are able to manage to some extent, but only on clinical practice they have been affected. So the only thing which I want to tell you is the tough times are going away, and patients are like in the hospitals also the patients are ready to come for therapies like neck pain, back pain and all. So the only thing they have to take like 2 3 things. One, they have to give, as Dr. Ali Rani said, like okay, we have to take precautions. We have to take precautions, appropriate precautions, wearing a mask and gloves and different hand hygiene techniques, and you have to give assurances to the patients that you are following the safety precautions and you are safe to come. Maybe you may be like okay, in some cases you may charge like okay, an 100 or like 200 like extra for like taking additional precautions. In some cases you can charge less depending on the condition of the patients and how much time you're going to like okay contribute. This is one thing. Apart from that, you can also depend on the tele consultation, which you have already been doing in many hospitals. That the clinics also think of like, and clinic guys can think of doing teleconsultations, and maybe like 50% of the cases like and can be handled with teleconsultation. Though our thought process is like that, if it is a stroke or if it is like some conditions, teleconsultation may not be as effective as like the normal consultation. But just to give like some comfort to the patients, give them the option. Okay, this is also possible, and this is the plus and minus. You can say if the teleconsultation, you will get some benefit, but may not be getting the complete benefit, because some of the old patients may not be able to come to the clinic. They would prefer to keep their patients, the parents, I mean, the children prefer to keep their patients at home. So you can give them the option also, rather than ruling out like, okay, we can provide you therapy only if you come here. So you provide an option of teleconsultation, and maybe like weekly once they can just like come to the hospital setup. That's the second way of doing it. And as for the home care is concerned, in that will also will come back to normal in few, maybe like few weeks or like few months from now. And there also the patients and the public needs assurance, reassurance, like what precautions you're going to take. Like you can use a gloves and you can use a mask, and then like okay, in some cases, if wherever it's needed, you can take adequate precautions. Like, and you can educate the patient also before going on to the patient's house. You can have a maybe a video chat, and you can educate the patient. Okay, this is a precaution I would like to take. This is a precaution I want you to take. And wherever possible, if you minimize the contact, it will be like okay, better. I mean, this is a little controversial topic, minimizing the contact, but wherever possible, if you can supervise the patient's exercises, the standing at a distance, and if possible, you need to give them comfort and the support as and when needed. And where needed, you can give the manual therapy. Okay, you need to like okay, judiciously decide like okay to maintain and take precautions like social, maybe like they say about the hand hygiene techniques, as well as the distance precautions, as well as mask and other things. Because the only thing I felt, some of the patients, family members, the patient is wants the therapist to come home, but the family members, young family members, they are like scared that my mother and my father can get affected. So you need to be very judiciously deciding, because you can't be an asymptomatic carrier. You can't be an asymptomatic carrier of this disease to any patients. So you have to think as if like, okay, the patient is your own family, and you need to explain to the patient pros and cons. There is a possibility the patients can get it, but these are the like, okay, precautions. So educated people will definitely accept it, and the home physiotherapy thing are also going to be like become normal in few months down the line, if not many, like 3 to 4 months.
Thank you, Dr. JP. And what I would like to add here is that, okay, let me give you some stats. We already have reached to more than 3,000 people. There are 145 people live on FB and almost 80 people on Zoom at this time. So we in the first 15 minutes itself, it's quite a coverage. what I want to share here, everyone, is that the problems which we are facing is that at times, due to the fear psychosis, the patients have stopped it, the services. I don't want anybody to come into my home. As you said,
Mm.
my elderly
Mm.
father or mother will get it. Or can
Mm.
you tell me if your physiotherapist is COVID negative? So
Mm.
that means that the physiotherapist has to take a certificate with him saying that I'm a
Mm.
COVID negative, which even
Mm.
if you imagine that you'll test every physiotherapist, you'll have to do it every day, which is a stupid
Mm.
thing to do. At the
Yeah,
same time, there are many
mm.
physiotherapists also who are sitting at home and not going out saying that, oh, I will catch the virus. So the
Ah,
situation is very, very
both ways.
right. So my next question to Dr. Pandey here is, Dr. Pandey, do you think that people have done the right thing by stopping physiotherapy overnight? You're on mute. You're on mute, Dr. Pandey.
Definitely not, sir. And immediately after lockdown was really a difficult time. And when there was an abrupt stop of services, and people were facing so much of problems, sometimes we call patient and patients refused, and sometimes, as you rightly said, the physios themselves refused that, no, I will not come. But gradually counseling the therapist and the patient, like Dr. Ali said, that we somehow we were able to manage, and we started services to joint replacement patients, like those who were immediate just before undergone surgery, just before lockdown. So they were in definitely need for those services, and somehow we counsel them, and somehow we manage them. And patients also, we call the patient that about how our therapists are trained, and they are taking care of all infection control measures, like somehow. But definitely I would say that the initial phase, the physiotherapists themselves were very, very confused. They were very, very fearful, and they stopped services, right? So that was not right. We could have now we have started a good amount of physiotherapy services in OPD, as far as in home care also. The people are started taking physiotherapy, and physios are also started visiting their patient, treating them. And this has happened only because we counseled each other. We understood the situation, that it is not right way of dealing this crisis. The only thing we need to understand is to maintain the social distancing. And obviously it is very difficult for physio point of view, because physiotherapy is such an intervention where we need to have very close contact, like chest physiotherapy we are doing in hospitals or at home. So we are very, very, very much exposed. But yes, of course, there are way we can handle this situation. So it is not right thing to stop services. Yes, with few precautions, and which are possible. With few precautions, we can go ahead with these services, and we have to counsel our patients that these are the way. We are qualified people, and we can take care of things um, that you need these services. Otherwise, the things will be even worse in few days. So it is not at all not a good decision to stop services. But yes, of course, we have to take much of precautions.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Pandey. And what I understand from Professor Irani and from you, that the services are picking up, elective surgeries have started, right? And that's how we are going to reach some new normalization. Going back to Dr. Ayappan, you represent the association also here. So is there something specific which the association has done in this COVID times in terms of guidelines, declarations, or anything else with the government which the association has done?
Yeah, there's a complete different situation in Bangalore.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, can I?
Yes.
There's a complete different situation in Bangalore and Karnataka. To begin with, COVID, the moment the lockdown was announced, basically there was an apprehension and all were panic. What to go about, how to do about, and there was absolute notification from the government. Only the emergency services could be attended to in all departments. So only the emergency services were there, regular OPDs were not there, flu clinics were running. Then from our association, and basically we represented the government, we apprehended them that lots of physiotherapists they don't work on salaries. They work either on percentage basis or they own a department. So as far as the patient's part and the revenue part for the physiotherapist is concerned, it was very bad. So we represented the government of Karnataka and asked them to at least give us some provision for home care services, as Ali sir said about knee replacements or neurological cases. But still, there are two things, the two parameters where we looked into. Physiotherapists themselves, they were confused what to do. An example was one of the physiotherapists in rural Bangalore, that's the border of Anantpur, Gauri Bidnor. A physiotherapist was COVID positive and his family were quarantined. That news went like fire, and most of the physiotherapists are much worried again to practice. So that has even lost the morale of all physiotherapists to practice in such a situation, and they were not aware about hospital infection control. What am I supposed to wear? What is PP kit? What is which sanitizer to use? What the type of gloves to be used? So completely it was a chaotic situation, confused, hazy situation. Coming to the patient side, as Ali Rani sir said, here people were scared to come to hospital. They were only coming if they're having fever or an emergency situations. But otherwise, patients were at home. They were absolutely following the lockdown. So we had lots of confusion from both the patient's end and from the therapist end. Later on, from our association, we started representing and saying, look, we are also trained in hospital infection control. We also know how to scrub. So allow us in the sanitized way so that we can see the genuine patients. Initially, our physiotherapists from the state, they started only treating with ICU patients, ward patients, OPD were closed. All the clinics, standalone clinics were shut. So as of today, most 80% of the clinics are shut, only 20% are operational. Because of two reasons, patients are not coming, is first thing. Second part is therapists themselves are confused. And there is a government guidelines now to open from past 1 week. So amidst with this chaotic situation, I think definitely 80% of the patients who were in need of physiotherapists were deprived of because of two, apprehension by the patient, confusion by the physiotherapist community.
Thank you, sir. I think your internet is wavering. So I'll go to so amongst this confusion of physiotherapists, everybody said precautions, assurance is what is key. And Professor Arani also mentioned that the way OPD is functioning or the way IPD is functioning in Nanavati is different. Staff rotations are different. So let me go back to the man himself. Dr. Rani, can you tell us how do you resolve the confusion of the physiotherapists and the patients, what they need to do, what they don't need to do? Can you spend some time on that, sir?
I would now want to say, let us find out what is Corona. So I feel the listeners and the patients who are listening, they will get more confidence. It's not much different than regular cough, cold, or viral that you were getting. You should also know that the first 3-4 days, the Corona is at your throat level. So my advices to everybody would be, if you are drinking hot water, at least every hour, even if it's a sip, even if it's half a cup, very important. Immunize yourself. Take your immunity level up. Let's start assuming we are going to get Corona. So why we are running away from it? Why we are getting scared of it? So let us see the other end of it. The other end is you immune yourself. Those who have high immunity are not going to get. So what are the things that are for immunity? It has been proven, vitamin C. So have 2 to 3 oranges, guava, lime, anything that is having high vitamin C. I also take the dispersible ones, fast up vitamin C with zinc, 1 a day. Then vitamin D is going to help. So vitamin D comes in drumstick. Those who are vegetarian, so put in your dal and sambar drumsticks. It's always there. Or those who are non-veg can have paya soup and all that. At night, definitely have turmeric with milk, haldi doodh, old grandmother's recipe. We should have. Deep breathing. Corona attacks the lung. You know that the lung capacity of Indians are less than 2 liters, whereas a lung can take more than 4.5 liters of air. So let us, and as the simple test, I had said it almost 1.5 months back. So you take a deep breath and hold it See whether you can hold it to the count of 10 or 15. And if you don't cough or don't get breathless, you are safe. Then taking the temperature regularly, twice a day at least, you are safe, right? Using the right mask. I oppose the 3-ply. If this is a 3-ply mask, and if you're using it, you put a lighter on, it goes off. Not the right mask. So if you are using if you are going to use the right mask, blow, it doesn't go. So the lighter should not go off. Now, those who are using 3-ply mask, I'm not against it. Very simple. Use a tissue. Use a tissue in between. It won't go off. So just a tissue does the work. Even for poor people, we had made mask from socks. Take a socks, put a tissue in between. That's your earpiece.
Wow.
Right? And washable. So change the tissue once a day. It works. Sanitization, whether it's going to be a simple sanitizer, regularly keep using it, rub it properly, see that even your nails are up, right? This is going to go. How you are going to increase your vital capacity for lung. So I'm assuming assume now we all are going to have it. How we are going to protect ourselves. Those who are in physiotherapy department, they have the spirometer. Check what is it, keep increasing. But I'll show you one simple method. Whenever you see fresh air, take a deep breath. And when you come out with a hissing sound. So the air remains and come out slowly. Please, I want people to understand our impure blood after taking round of our body comes at the base of the lung. And we are breathing because only 20% is oxygen if it is fresh air. So when we take a deep breath, every time we take a breath, the air goes and hit the bottom, the impure blood collects the oxygen, becomes pure, goes to the heart, and heart pumps it all over. So let's increase the capacity. And the best way is to take a deep breath and come out with a hissing sound. Very slowly, right? If we practice this, let's get, see, I always say that when you are scared of your window, somebody will come inside from your window, you put a grill outside. Then you are sure you sleep nicely, nobody can come in. So let's assume Corona wants to attack us. Let us raise the immunity level at any age level. Good food, no outside food, see that you don't have oily food, vitamin C, vitamin D, haldi doodh, grandmother's recipe. So let's become strong. And I feel that tradition has to come into Indians now because it's going to stay. We don't know, maybe it will stay for next 2 years. So how we are going to, so the social distance is going to remain. Yes, we will be better equipped, better hygiene. We will know with time, in next 2-3 months time, we have practiced it all and we will know how to behave and how well or hygienic we should remain with our patients.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Let me tell you, in the first 30 minutes, we have 176 people viewing us live on Facebook, 80 people on Zoom, and we have reached out to more than 5,500 people. So I'll now come to Dr. Gagan. Dr. Gagan, you have been a great proponent of tele-rehabilitation. You have been after my life for last 2 years कि हमें ये करना चाहिए. और जब वो करने का time आया, I know that you have moved your 70% patients on tele-rehabilitation. And now at Healthcare at Home also, our physiotherapists are slowly picking up that concept, which was very, very alien to them. So when the teleconsultation itself has gone 3 times, how do you see this acceptance of tele-rehabilitation in patients and in the physiotherapists? JP also remarked that you cannot get that thing which you can get by doing it with a hand. But then what is the efficacy of tele-rehabilitation and how it should be practiced? Your views.
It's this talk is very interesting, and we, as we see very interestingly, different parts of India and different settings of practice of physiotherapy are using different guidelines. Means home care, IPD, OPD in Delhi, Bangalore. As we saw in healthcare at home, also like Bangalore, home visits were relatively less affected as the home visits in Delhi or in Mumbai were affected. We are all people and we are behaving like we do normally. Means it's about what is the education around us and how we work and what are our ethics. So we are doing that way. But in the whole this whole scenario now, suddenly the focus has shifted towards telemedicine, teleconsultations, telehealth, telerehab, and it has happened so over last so much so in last 2 months that people even on the medical side, also physicians and other people who used to think that they can't practice medicine if they have not seen the patient, but we are in such a situation that we have moved on to telemedicine, and now in the physio tele rehab thing has come up. So here also there can be few models which can be adopted to suit our patients, and which could be in 2 or 3 forms. As I know, we had a chat, Dr. Ali and me, 1.5 years back in a conference, and Dr. Ali was mentioning that people are very smart. They don't want to come to OPD and they want a video to be posted by the staff where they can see the exercise, how it is performed, and then they don't want to come to department. They want to see the video and do exercise. So this could be one of the models where only an exercise is shown, maybe through YouTube, through your own videos, and the patient understands and learns that. There's another model where an exercise program, proper program is provided through an app, and someone is monitoring that program. And the third model could be that if there is some help at the home, which could be the case, Dr. Dharam can say more about it, and especially in neuro cases where some help is there, and it can be a physiotherapist guided program which is delivered by somebody else. So guided by physiotherapist, controlled by physiotherapist, and maybe some, of course, there'll be limitations. As Dr. Jayaprakash said, there will be limitations, there will be certain limitations, but considering the whole scenario, in whatever best effort we can do it here. Recently, some associations abroad, they have classified into essential and non-essential practices of physiotherapy. So they have divided into essential and non-essential, and mainly MSK practice. They made it a routine process that it should be first they have to undergo a teleconsultation and manage there. A lot of education material is being prepared that long-term effect, maybe short-term, in a week's time, you may think that manual therapy is working out better or not. A lot of research, though, is required in Indian scenario also. Those researches won't work here, so we need our own researches also. But we need to look at slightly longer-term care. If we see a patient after 3 months, though his first week would be worse as compared to manual therapy and teleconsultation, but we have to take a slightly broader view, maybe 3 months time, where are we with both the therapists? The people are safer, and maybe the results would be similar after 3 months. So education is very important for the patient as well as on the therapist part. And there is another thing which could come up, which is triaging the patient or keeping the patient on the wait list, or even as Dr. JP said that maybe you have one consultation, and then put them on the tele rehab for a while, and then again review the case and see the effects of tele rehabilitation. So here I would say that it has come up in a big way, and I think this is going to stay here for long and probably change the practices also. But a lot of research and a lot of guidelines are required on the tele rehab side.
Yeah, that was my next question to you, Dr. Gagan. As you were speaking, we crossed 6,300 mark of reaching out to people. But what I want to ask is, there are various ways of doing teleconsult. Some of people are using WhatsApp videos. Some are using apps like you are using. There are people who are using Zoom videos, right? But the telehealth guidelines of India has clearly said that there has to be a consent. All the video or audio recordings have to be maintained for 5 years. And also the prescription has to be maintained for 5 years. In fact, Telehealth Association of India has also come up with a 3-hour module for MBBS doctors to train them how to do all this. So has the physiotherapy community or association also come up with any guidelines which can clarify things for physios who really want to do it? It's better to do something rather than to be without a job or an income. At least people want to connect, physiotherapists want to connect. So what has the association or the community done to bring out some guidelines and bring a standardization to this telehealth?
So it's a very valid question that you've asked, because while I was talking about the teleconsultation, I was advocating that there are few issues related to teleconsultations which are on the side of the patient confidentiality, patient privacy. What are the guidelines? So if I am doing a teleconsultation and 4 people are in my room or my friends are sitting behind, okay, so which is unethical. So there are guidelines on the privacy side. Should be guidelines on the confidentiality side of the patient, as you mentioned, like consent, which is very important. So there should be a process of consent, taking consent, and a lot of exchange of patient documents is happening, which at times happens in a very informal manner over platforms which are not secured. So means those are certain issues which can become medico-legal issues if not taken care of. And then next one that I wanted to touch upon is the patient safety. Like, what is the patient safety? Whether we are considering that while we are planning a tele rehab, or are we considering red flags? Means if the patient is coming directly to us, or if whether he has been seen by someone else before. If he has been seen by someone else, then definitely those prescriptions are required, those documentations and investigations are required. But patient safety, patient privacy, and confidentiality are very important, which I had a talk with one of my seniors, and we were discussing about this only, and he said that they're working on giving out some guidelines for teleconsultation, and probably something from telemedicine also could be adopted and modified for physiotherapy. So it has to happen, and I think it will happen very soon.
Dr. Ayyappan, from the association side, you said, I'm coming back to Dr. Dharam. From the association side, you said you have issued a declaration form for the patients to fill before a new patient is onboarded, and we are using that Pan India, which is the Karnataka Association came in. But is there any telehealth training curriculum, telehealth guidelines which the association has come out with?
Normally, everybody are doing.
Yeah, please carry on.
Normally, everybody are doing telecommunication. But the rest of the patient is bad.
I know it's raining heavily in Bangalore and internet is an issue with Dr. Ayyappan. Can you hear me, Dr. Ayyappan? You're on mute now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, are there any telehealth guidelines for telerehabilitation or something in the making? Because that is going to help people. People are not going to start having the same normal as it was in pre-COVID times. Is the association doing something on that? Any curriculum which standardized telehealth?
Actually, we are working out. We are trying a pilot study with how the telemedicine is working for physiotherapy per se as concerned. But yes, certain people are maybe 2 or 3% of physiotherapists in our state, they are doing that. But still, we have to do in more hospitals, because hospitals started functioning. Physiotherapy started functioning. From here on, we have to look at talking into the guidelines part, consent part, confidentiality aspect. Definitely, we are looking at it. We are trying to get a guidelines. But one thing in Karnataka, patients look at one-to-one communication, one-to-one meeting with the physiotherapist.
Okay.
So there was a study last week, both from physiotherapists and from the medical fraternity. It has come in last week Times of India article. 80% wants to have one-to-one contact with a therapist or a doctor for the treatment. Still keeping that information skeptical. Yes, definitely we will be looking forward on telemedicine too.
सर, आज से कोविड से पहले हर डॉक्टर ये बोलता था कि जब तक हाथ नहीं लगाऊंगा प्रिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं लिखूंगा. Teleconsultation in doctors has gone 3 times. It's high time that physiotherapists also adopt it. Yeah, Dr. Irani, you wanted to add, and then I'll go to Dharam. You are on mute, Dr. Irani. Please unmute yourself before you start. Yeah.
I feel we are still in a state of shock, whether it's a physiotherapist or whether it's a patient. The initial first 15 days, we all wanted to rest. So, dekhenge kya ho raha hai. And after 15 days, when the second lockout came and the extension of the lockout came, we only started thinking whether it is possible or not. Now, after the third lockout, we have started thinking what are the possibilities of treating patients. And I feel after 17, when the fourth lockout comes, many of the cities, many of the places in India will have the fourth lockout, which will definitely go till the end of May. So as far as the association is concerned, yes, lot of advices are being pouring to the president, Dr. Jha, and they are working now how to start. Like Karnataka, Ayappa was saying about Karnataka has, every state have their own association also. Yes, they would work how to find out ways and means. I feel the major cities, it has not been affected. Definitely Delhi and Mumbai go on the same line because of the department working. The patients are finding physiotherapy department. They are having a lot of video calls, video consultation. We have our own telemedicine centers. We have been doing all that. But for a smaller place, for a physiotherapist who had their own clinic, or used to do 4 or 5 visits to a clinic, for them still they are in a way of coming out. And I feel it will be the month of June where all will come out with a lot of ideas, and we will, by that time, government will also with some rules and regulation, and we will be following that.
Thank you, sir. Let me go to Dharam Pandey now. So, Dharam, you are a member of the Delhi Physiotherapy Association also at a very senior level. You are a neurology expert also. Tell me that the patients who have had recent neurological disorders or are chronic neurological disorders like MNDs or GBs, we were treating maybe in the hospital or at home, right? How these people are supposed to, lockdown has been more than 42 days. What are we doing about these patients? And then your view, you wanted to add something on telerehabilitation.
Yes, I wanted to add that, like Dr. Gagan said, very rightly said, that there are few limitations, but yet it is a very, very effective tool for virtual consultation. And I wanted to add that what we started when soon after lockdown, there was the abrupt stop of services, and as you said, a lot of neurological patients coming to our OPD, and they were at home also. So what we did, initially we just started our record. We looking at record those who are in really need, and we decided that we found that some of patients cannot be stopped with these services. So what we did, we asked them, we called them that we are going to provide you services, and if somebody is educated at home, they can understand us, and we can teach you something on video. Can you maintain for at least, because first lockdown was 15 days. Okay, so we thought that after 15 days, once the things will settle down, the services will resume. But at that time, we found some patients and they agreed that, and we called them. We took a consent on video, because we are JCI hospital and we have a very specific protocol for consent and record keeping. So we took that a video consent from them, patients as well as attendant, and we started teaching them some few passive movements that at least after till 15 days they can be managed. So this is what we started, and Dr. Ali will agree with me that our hospital like Nanavati, NBLK and Max, every or the same company now. So we have started app-based video consultation, and now it has everything. Last 30th we started that implemented in all the hospitals. So that is there. As far as neurological patients are concerned, really it is a very difficult time for them. And as I said that earlier, we found that some patients are, how we manage those patients. And we started video consultation with the attendant. We started teaching them some simple exercises so that at least in crisis, they can manage, like some of few exercises. Obviously, it will not be that effective as physiotherapists visit them and do the total rehab. But at least we were able to manage that. They don't get any contracture, they don't get the pneumonia, they don't get any with complications at such time. And after when second lockdown started, then we started counseling them that this is needed and you cannot manage for very long with this way. And they understood that. Many of them understood that, and we are resuming those services. So few started coming also, and some of are at home, they are taking services. So it is really difficult for neurological patients. But the only thing is, as the very earlier Dr. Irani also said, that it is counseling. We have to convince the patient that you are safe, and this is what all precautions we are taking on, and we have to be ready. He very rightly said that suppose tomorrow we are going to have COVID infection, then everywhere there is an infection, chance of infection. So what we need to understand here, and same times we need to tell this and make patient also understand, that the common society people, that we have to take care of our immunity, and how we are taking precautions, both the side, the patient side, their attendant side, and of course the therapist who is visiting. Then I think this problem can be solved. And obviously this lockdown is going to be further, maybe, may not be. And we must remember that this lockdown is going to be over maybe another 15 days or 20 days or a month, but risk will remain same, right? So this social distancing part and all these infection control measures what we are practicing now, this is going to be practiced, and this must be practiced for several months after lockdown also. So we have to make habit of practicing this, taking these all precautions, and uh, convince ourselves that how we are going to change our working style. And definitely we have to change our working style, take all precautions, and definitely there will be nothing, and the things will get resumed.
So, Dr. Pandey, if I understood you very clearly, you are saying that this is going to be the new normal. I take one message very clearly, that we should identify the patients who are going to suffer the most, counsel them and educate them that this is wrong for you if you don't take physiotherapy at this time. So that's a very strong message for all the physiotherapists who are now saying कि हमें तो patient बुला नहीं रहा. That means कि we have to put adequate effort in counseling the patient, that it can be a physical visit with adequate PPEs and education. It could be a remote visit by tele-rehabilitation, and you could use simple things like a Zoom or a WhatsApp also to educate the family, which is also staying at home. So a very valuable feedback. Do you have any message for the standalone clinics? Because we all have been talking that 80% people have standalone clinics. How do they resume? There was a question just now. Do you recommend the use of disposable PPE in clinical setup? So OPDs कैसे खोले दोबारा?
Yes, खोलना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो we are going to be very troubled later on if we don't take care ourselves right now. So there are people are aware about PPE, and we need to further strengthen this things. And I think you and the healthcare at home has a good resources. We can spread awareness about that among physios and society. Then what precautions, like in as far as the standalone clinics are concerned, they have to have certain protocol once they reopen. They have to have certain protocol for sanitization take place at the clinic, and proper use of PPE, and there has to be some specific guideline for their clinic for infection control. And when they do all these things, definitely the patient who are visiting them, they will have a sense of confidence that yes, this is a safe place and I can visit. I'm safe here, getting treated here, I'm safe. The same thing happened to will applicable to home care also. If the therapist is going for home, like home healthcare at home, people are visiting, physiotherapists are visiting home, they need to be educated enough that how to talk to patient and get the patient confidence that yes, this person is visiting my home and he is taking all the precautions and he's a well educated, and I'm safe by getting treatment with him. Then obviously I don't think patient will deny. And the all proper sanitations for clinical OPD, there has to be good training for all the staff there. They are working. There has to be something screening procedure for patients, those who are visiting, so they can be screened for their. We can have a form like structure. We can make a questionnaire form of like this, like how it is in Arogya Setu app. So we can copy those questions and we can have a certain questionnaire before we take patient inside the OPD. So we can have some barrier kind of thing there. So taking these all precautions, definitely we can come out of this crisis. And specifically, I want to mention for IPD patients, like those who are doing chest physiotherapy, and I think healthcare at home also providing chest physiotherapy at home, cardiopulmonary services and all that. So for those physiotherapists, there is specific precaution I would mention here that in obvious practice, what we do when we provide chest physiotherapy, we stand very close to patient, right? So here I would suggest that change this habit as far as possible, and for few months maybe, that you don't stand in front. You maybe side or keep a proper distance while treating patients. It is all applicable to all the patients, not only chest physiotherapy, but try to maintain certain distance while treating patient at home or in OPD. So definitely with the and we can more rely on remedial exercise therapeutic approach, rather having some modality, electrotherapy and all that things. So in that way also, because if patients are visiting in OPD, and sanitizing and disinfecting these equipments are little difficult job for every time. So more on we can have scheduling as we have done in our OPD, that 5 therapists in the morning and 5 therapists in the evening, something kind of that. And if the clinic is smaller, then you can treat one by one. If you have a certain good space, you can 3-4 patients at a time, just to minimize the gathering and don't allow attendant to be there. So these are few precautions we can take care in OPD as well as at home, and we should be ready for to deal with this crisis. We cannot sustain for a long time like this, and we need to understand this is going to happen. If we are going to live in this scenario, like in fear and panic, this is going to become an even more dangerous than this COVID virus. Okay, so we cannot sustain it for very long.
Very right, very right,
Yeah.
Dr. Pandey. I think
Yeah.
that's going to be the new normal. We have some questions on that also.
Yeah.
So if I have understood and I want to sum up with the last 6 minutes, let me try to sum up. For home healthcare, it's very important to follow up your existing patients. Please see that the patients who can go into complications should be counseled properly. I believe that a physiotherapist develop a very, very strong relationship with this patient, because they become a family, and in a family, you need to trust each other. So those things that मैं infect हो जाऊंगा, मैं patient को infect कर दूंगा, I think those are the fears which have to go away by using proper protocols, by sanitizing your equipment, by using mask. Like Dr. Irani explained, that using mask is so easy. You just keep a tissue paper and a 3-ply mask, and at Healthcare at Home, we have supplied adequate PPEs to all our people, right? So, and there are people who have been working overtime also, to a contrast where people have not been. So I think all these things, and in clinics, I would mention that IMA has come up for clinic regulations for doctors who are resuming operations, where there are norms of social distancing in waiting, in screening, how, as you said, the doctor should not be facing the patient, should be behind while auscultating, or should be towards the side. Yeah, Dr. Ayappan, you want to add on something, clinical regulations? And Dr. Irani is already wearing a shield now.
Yeah, last week we had a meeting. We are coming up with a hospital infection control guidelines, COVID guidelines for all physiotherapists across Karnataka. We almost 400 physiotherapists we had met on Zoom. We have structured a guidelines, as Dharam Pandey said, how to wear a PP kit, what type of a gown to be worn at OPD, at IP, at ICU. That guidelines were coming out, and which physiotherapists who are going to home care. How are they protecting themselves and protecting the patients and family they are treating? For that matter, how they're going to sanitize before they enter, what type of clothing they are going to wear. Is it a PP kit or a overcover and a face shield are we using? There are lots of guidelines we have structured. Maybe within 4 or 5 days, already for hospitals, we have given the guidelines, both for OPD and IP. Completely to take care of our fellow physiotherapists, our patients, and other hospital staff. So that part has been taken care. When it comes to home care, definitely
We
So
also
when
have a
are releasing
guidelines.
these guidelines? When are these guidelines getting released? Because people need them fast.
Yes, sir. In Karnataka, from past 4 or 5 days, we started functional, practically by last 1 week. So slowly we have started with IP and OPD. Home care, slowly we are starting because of the apprehension of patients. We need to take patients into confidence. The moment we wear a PP kit and go inside, patient is confident with us. So that is what we are trying to do. We are coming up with lots of guidelines. We are coming up with lots of videos, write-ups to the public. We have even appealed to the government to help us out to push our guidelines to the public. Lots of home care enquiries are coming to all hospitals. So we are working to the earliest from Karnataka.
Dr. Yappan, I would say that we need to work at super speed. I have an example where CureFit was a gymnasium, and today their business has bounced back by just video gymnasium, right? They are doing this home fitness programs just on calls. They've recorded things. If that business can bounce back, why can't a vital business like physiotherapy bounce back? Right? I think the association has to come back with guidelines ASAP, not and induce confidence. The people who are saying what PPEs to use, I think Dr. Irani has very clearly made it understand a simple mask, जो कि lighter को blow नहीं कर सकता, and all the standard precautions which we were using before also. Anybody of us can be corona infected. Saying this कि मुझे corona हो जाएगा, you might already have it. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
Your patient might already have it, and 85% of people are asymptomatic and recovering. We have to live with corona, and at a point where all the healthcare providers are superheroes, physiotherapy cannot be left behind. If there was a question, somebody said, हम जाएंगे, touch करेंगे, वापस family को आके touch करेंगे. Doctors and nurses are doing it, right? Physiotherapists cannot shy behind. If you don't do your duty now, it will be a great danger to the profession, what I feel. I would send a very strong message on behalf of all of you that physiotherapists have a very vital role to play, especially in home healthcare, when people don't want to go into hospitals and clinics, right? Where people are afraid to go into hospitals, that there might be a cross-contamination chances more rather than at home. So to all the physiotherapists who are working in home healthcare, with healthcare at home or other places, I would request, please resume your duties, counsel your patients, get more patients as soon as possible. Final words, Dr. Professor Irani, sir, before we close in the next 2 minutes.
Mr. Gaurav, please don't generalize.
No, sir, I'm not generalizing.
Yes,
I'm just giving a very strong
There
message.
have been physiotherapists working in frontline.
I agree.
There have been physiotherapists in this country working frontline and not seeing time. I have
Rani sir, not a single ICU patient in healthcare at home, any physiotherapist has refused. We do 100 patients on a midnight occupancy. All patients have been given physiotherapy on ICU at homes.
I agree. PPE is not the answer because the toll will go on the patient. There is no PPE less than between 600 to 1,000 rupees. You may get a PPE for even 800 rupees, but that is not foolproof. The foolproof is immunity of your own body. This is going to remain. So let us immunize ourselves to a level that it does not touch us. And we shouldn't have taken this profession if we are going to get scared.
Yes.
This is for all the physiotherapists, all the students who are not going to the hospital, who are not going to the OPD. They are shying away. They are running away with hundreds of reasons. And I have got students and my staff which are coming. So they are the daredevils. They are the frontline warriors. So it is very simple. Whether you have that heart, you have taken a profession to heal people. And when the time is there of healing, you are backing out. That is a simple line I will say. कि खुदी को खर इतना बुलंद के खुदा खुद तुझसे पूछे बता बंदे तेरी रजा क्या है. You raise your level.
कमाल कर दिया सर आपने. लास्ट क्वेश्चन जो होम हेल्थ केयर में पूछा जा रहा है कि क्या हमें घर पे पूरी पीपी किट पहननी चाहिए? I have told my people it is not required. Coming from you experts will make more value.
Only the mask can do.
No, not at all.
Mask and gloves can do, if at all, if you need it.
Thank you so much. It has been 1 hour. We have reached to more than 9,000 people, 4,000 views. I think we have had a very, very fabulous engagement. Thanks to all luminaries like you. Thanks for your time. Thanks for contributing to the profession and to the general public. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.